Okay guys, you now know how to show the window, right? Now we're gonna learn how to draw shapes. Okay, in order to do this, I'm gonna create a class where we're gonna draw our shape. I'm gonna right click my package, click Java class, and then I'm gonna call this paintings. Okay, this is gonna be the board where we're gonna do our drawings. Okay, now I'm gonna let it extend JPanel, right? This is basically a component where we're gonna draw our stuff. So now, in order to draw shapes, there's a specific existing method you need to override. It's called paint component. So I'm simply gonna override that. Okay. And then we can begin drawing our shapes now. The first basic shape I'm gonna draw is a square. Right. Let me just comment here, square. And then now I'm gonna create my variables here on top. We're gonna have the X location. I'm gonna put it 20 pixels from the left, and then we're gonna have our Y, which is gonna be 20 pixels from above, right? And then I'm gonna have W, which is short for width. This one I'm gonna make it 100, and then my height I'm gonna make it 50. Okay, these are the variables we're gonna use when we draw our shape. Okay, now there's two ways you can draw a shape. It's either you can draw a path of a shape or you can draw a fill of a shape. Let's start with the fill of a shape. When you draw a fill of a shape, you're basically drawing, for example, a rectangle that is filled with a color, and then an outline of a shape. It's basically when you draw the outer structure of a rectangle instead of filling it with color inside. It's more like a stroke around it. So let's start with the fill of a shape. So now, in order to draw this, the first thing I need to do is set the color. I'm gonna set it to red. Okay. This allows me to draw my rectangle in a specific color, which in this case is red, right? So now, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call the fill rect method, and then fill it with those variables. The first variable is X, Y, and then it's gonna be the width, and then the height. Okay, now I'm done drawing my shape, right? Now what I need to do is go back to my game window class, and then I'm simply just gonna add that component which I called paintings. Okay, now that I'm done adding it, I'm gonna run this program to see if I did everything successfully. Okay, now if you look, you can see that our rectangle has been drawn successfully. Now what I'm gonna do is draw the outline of the rectangle. Okay, now I want to change the background of this component to black, so I'm gonna go to my constructor here, and then I'm gonna say call set background, and then put black here. Okay, cool. Now our background, when the window shows, it's gonna be black. Okay, now I want to draw the outline, right? So now I'm gonna change the color to white this time, and then I'm gonna copy this fill rect thing here, and then now instead of fill rect, I'm gonna put draw rect. Okay, so now remember, I draw this after I've drawn the fill rect. So this means basically, because I called it at a later stage, this method, it's gonna be drawn on top of the existing rectangle. So it does have the exact coordinates and the same exact size, but the difference is that it's gonna be on top. So it's gonna look like an outline of a rectangle. So now let's run this program and see what happens. Okay, we can now see that there's a white outline on top. Let's get into drawing a different shape now. I'm gonna draw a circle this time, right? Now I want this circle to be at the bottom of the existing rectangle. So I'm gonna add the y value to the height, and then in order to add a little bit of space on it by at least maybe let's say 10 pixels. Okay, now I'm gonna call the g dot fill ellipse, fill oval, sorry, it's gonna be fill oval, and then it's gonna be the exact same coordinates and size again. This time I'm gonna change the color to pink. And then we draw the outline as usual. Instead of rect, I'm gonna say draw over oval. Set the color to white. Okay, and then now let me run my program. Okay, now we can see that this circle is not a clear circle. It looks like an oval basically. So in order to make it a circle, it's simple. We simply need to make the width and the height the same. So let's go ahead and do that. And then let me run this again. Okay, I only changed the one at the bottom. Let me change the one on top as well. Okay, we can see now we have a perfect circle, right? Now I'm gonna go ahead and draw another shape. This time I'm simply gonna draw a line. Okay, so let me go here and write line, and then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna increase the x coordinate by the width, and then add 10 pixels, and then again I'm gonna change the color, this time to white. Okay, and then now the line, when it comes to the line, it only has one function that you can use to call it. So it's this one, draw line. So I'm gonna draw the first coordinate is gonna be the coordinate of the first point, right? So which is gonna be x and y, and then the next two coordinates are gonna be the coordinates of the point that's gonna connect those 2 points, right? Let me just open up Paint to make you understand what I'm talking about here. So let's say it's 10 pixel by 10 pixels, which, for hypothetically speaking, let us just say it's this position, right? And then now the second coordinates, let us say the x is going to be 50, and then the y is going to be the same, 10. So this means that it's going to be 50 pixels horizontally, which is here, and then it's going to be 10 pixels vertically, which is the exact same position as the previous point, right? And then from there a line will be drawn from these 2 points, right? Let me go back to my code here so that we can see what I'm talking about. Okay, we have x, we have y, and then now I'm gonna say x plus maybe let's say 100. So this means I want this this line of mine to be 100 pixels, a horizontal line that has 100 pixels, and then the y location we're gonna keep it the same. So it's basically gonna be a straight horizontal line. So let me run this program and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, we can see we have a line at the bottom, right? Now the next thing I'm gonna draw is simply an image, right? Okay, so let me write below here. We are drawing an image this time. We want an image to appear. So I'm gonna do the same thing, increase the y by the width, and then add 10 pixels to it, right? Okay, now in order to draw an image, let me go to my file system here and check which image to draw. Okay, I'm simply just gonna draw this image here. Actually, let me just right click here and copy the path. Okay, now I'm gonna create a variable here called string, then I'm simply gonna call it path, right? And then let me copy the name of this image, and then I'm not sure if it's a JPEG or what, so let me check here. Okay, it's a JPEG, so I'm gonna go back here and add the .jpg extension. Okay, fine. We now created a variable for our path. Now let us draw our image. So in order to draw an image, you're gonna call java g.draw image, right? And then now your first argument is gonna be image. So I'm gonna create an image variable here, right? And then I'm gonna say new image icon. And then as an argument, I'm simply gonna provide the path, right? And then I'm gonna hold Control Shift and I to import from the image, and then call .get image. Okay, I've now initialized my image, and then I put it as an argument here, and then put the X, Y, and then I need to put the X location and the Y location, and then put a semicolon here. So the last argument here is the image of observer. I'm simply just gonna say null. Don't worry about an image observer for now. You can just put in null. Okay, so now let me check if everything worked perfectly. Okay, we can now see that there's an image that is drawn here below. Okay, now that's all when it comes to the basics of drawing shapes and image. We're gonna get deep into this at a later period, but for now you are set when it comes to the basics. I'll see you on the next tutorial. Goodbye and thank you.